Hey guys, hi, how y'all doing? Here we go. Happy Thursday. Wow, um, time's a flying. So we are gonna talk a little bit about a spiritual journey, a spiritual path, how to maybe get that started, what that feels like, what experiences you can expect from yourself, from things around you, from spirit, all of that. So anyway, I just want to, hi guys, just want to say hello to all of you first and foremost. So I'm going to get going fairly quick here, but I just want to wait for a couple of people to join in. Hey guys, we're telling, okay, perfect, thank you. Hi Lovey, how are you? I'm waving at you. Love that, Lovey. Okay, guys. So let me just unuse that. Okay, so I am treading very carefully on Facebook here to make sure I don't see that yet. Okay. Anyway, if you guys on Facebook can let me know that you are on. I see people joining. I see people coming on, but I don't see comments yet. So I don't know if it's delayed, so that'll help me. If you can uh, put something in the comments so I can see if I'm actually seeing them, that would be awesome. I'm not working on, I have my cell phone for Instagram today. So anyway, we're going to talk about a spiritual path a little bit. And I also want to talk about what prompted this because I didn't expect to come on and talk about it at all. So it was not something I was planning to do. I actually had a whole other thing that I was going to talk about. So, but anyway, so I want to kind of talk a little just for a second here, and it kind of lies itself a little bit with a spiritual path, because when you're on a spiritual journey and you're on a spiritual path, you have to be willing to let things move and go with the flow and kind of let that current kind of take you where it needs to take you. And I've always kind of I became very oops I became very I guess stars on Facebook. Anyway, that's kind of what I always did. And so anyway, I just and I still do, and I do that in my work because oftentimes I work with the spirit world every day, right? So let's be clear, I'm a medium, and I have guides that are very active and very present in my work, and I get moved and guided a lot, and so I'm happy to really just kind of go with the flow all the time because they'll remove me, and that's what happened the other day. So I was writing a post for Facebook and for Instagram, and I was talking about like my mediumship circle that I've been doing on Monday nights, and I wanted to kind of like do a shout out and kind of like just talk a little bit about it and like the experience people were having. And by the way, I'm doing I think two more in November on Monday nights. If any of you guys are interested in doing a mediumship development circle, they're 2 hours or 2.5 hours, and they're Monday nights, 5:30 Pacific time on Zoom. And so you would go to my website and get a ticket. They're $10. And then I will personally send you a Zoom link the night before, so Sunday. So Sunday night, I send out my Zoom links for the mediumship group. And so I know the holidays are getting closer, but anyway, I committed to the month of November. So anywho, I just want to kind of express that. So if you guys are interested. But anyway, I was on Facebook and Instagram, and I was writing a post about my mediumship circle, and I was, writing all this stuff, and I was just, in the flow. And then and then all of a sudden, I just started changing my words, and like all of my words just started changing. And so, and I was just writing, and then when I read my post before I, actually posted it on social media, it was like entirely different. It was on a spiritual journey, and I'm like, what the heck? Like, how in the heck does that happen? How does that happen? Like, I was writing about the development circle, and it turned into this whole other topic. And so I thought, okay. And then, like, through that writing, and as I was posting, and as my day was going, like, spirit was so strong. So for whatever reason, and I don't need to understand or know what all those reasons always are, and neither do you. And I just learned to kind of go with it. But I just trust that this is the conversation we're supposed to have tonight. And so that's what we're going to do. And so, and then I kind of started thinking about things I wanted to talk about tonight, about the spiritual journey and my path, and like steps that you could take to kind of begin yours, and what that looks like. And then all of a sudden, there was this book that they wrote with me, my guides, Destination Self. And so I am going to read a very short chapter, very, very short. All the chapters are very short in this, but anyway, I'm going to read it. And then anybody who wants a copy of it, I'm going to give a free one out. If you guys email me, I'm going to send you a free copy of that, so you can kind of get started on your journey. So if you are on a spiritual path, or you're wanting to get on a spiritual path, and you kind of want more information of what that really is about, we'll talk a little bit about it tonight. And I'm happy to send you this book. I'll give you an e-version, and I'll email it to you if you email me. So just go to my website, monicateurlings.com, and just say I'd love to have, the book Destination Self that you talked about on Facebook and Instagram, and I will send it out to you. And then you'll have like a tool to kind of get started. I'm also going to talk a little bit about some other books that are available for you on this journey that I feel would be very helpful for someone who's starting this path. But so I'm going to kind of do that, and so we'll talk about that also. So yay. Also, let me just see what else. Also, just really quick, next Friday, a week from tomorrow, I'm going to be doing an evening on spirit guides. So if you guys are interested on wanting to learn more about spirit guides, your spirit guides, I'm going to do a Zoom talk on it. A lot of people are interested in the guides. A lot of you have kind of followed me and have followed the words of my guides, Edgar. And so I'm going to do a little talk on spirit guides, and it's $10. It's going to be next Friday, the 19th at 5 o'clock Pacific time. If you guys are interested, you can go to my website, my event page, and get a ticket. It'll take you to Eventbrite. You'll get a ticket. I will send you the Zoom links the day before the event. So next week, so a week from today, I'll send out all the Zoom links. So look in your junk folder, your spam folder. If it doesn't show up in your inbox, I will be sending it Thursday. And I think I have 3 tickets left. I am limiting the seats because, I don't want it to go, too crazy. I want to be able to have enough dialogue with all of you and be able to answer questions, because I know it's a topic that always has a lot of questions, and I'm really passionate about it. And so obviously I want to be able to answer questions. I'll do a guided meditation to help you connect with your guides as well. Also in that evening, so next Friday, that's going to be a talk on spirit guides. So if you're interested, go to my website and get a ticket. I think there's 3 left, maybe 4. And then that's it. So, okay. So that's available for you. And again, if you guys want to email me while you're on my website, or go on my website if you want a copy of this, because we're talking about a spiritual path and a spiritual journey and what that means, I'm going to send you guys this for free. If you guys are into it, then you have a tool that you can already kind of dive in. It's a very easy, practical, simple book to follow. It is something super easy, and you could take you can work on it like ASAP, like super, super fast. So, hi guys, how you guys doing? Hello. I don't think I'm seeing any comments are coming in on my Facebook, but please leave them, because what I'll do then tonight is I'll answer your comments on Facebook when I get off here tonight. I'll answer your questions. So please still leave comments. I appreciate that. I do read them all, but sometimes there's many and I can't get to all of you. But tonight I'll make it a conscious effort to really answer a lot of you, since I can't do it here. For some reason, I don't know what the problem is. But anyway, okay. So I also have some lovely quotes tonight on spiritual journey and a spiritual path that resonated really with me. So I'm obviously going to share those with you, and maybe they resonate with you. Okay, so let me just see. So I think that's good. I'm going to get started. So just want to make sure you guys are all on. Yep. Okay, perfect. Hi, guys. Thank you all for joining. Okay, so I'm going to talk about a spiritual journey. What does that mean? A spiritual journey really means different things to different people, right? Because we all have a path that we're going to walk, and what we're going to find on that path, what we're going to find on that road, what we're going to find on that journey for us is going to be different than somebody else. So it is very unique. So So what I really want to emphasize here is, when you're walking a spiritual path or you're beginning the spiritual journey, it's really important that I emphasize that all spiritual paths are very sacred. So your own personal spiritual path is very sacred, and it's very sacred for you. And you're going to find that out. Hi, Ursula. Hi, Chris. How you guys doing? Hi. Hey, Alex. How are you, honey? So when you walk a spiritual path, it's a personal journey with yourself, and it's a very sacred journey that you take for yourself. And I think it's really important that you really honor that. We are all different, and we are all experiencing different journeys, and our journey in our life is going to be different from one another in life. How you guys doing? Hello to you too, guys. Thank you. Thank you for the hearts. So while, ultimately we are all one, we are all as one in a spiritual practice. That's what it is, right? We are part of a collective. We're part of something greater. And, God is everything and everywhere and everyone, and it is also a part of us. And so we are very connected. A spiritual journey is about that. But it is important that you honor your own spiritual journey and your own spiritual path, because it is unique to you. And you need to really honor that divineness that sits within yourself, because it does. So, a regular spiritual practice is, key for, most people to kind of break out of unhealthy habits and unhealthy behaviors, and kind of help us through some wounds that have also, sat with us, through our life. And we got to break out of some of these patterns, things that trigger us, judgments that we have had in our life that have made us feel not so good about who we are, or steps that we're taking where it makes us second guess ourselves, where we lose confidence in ourselves, you see. And so, it's important that we become aware of, those judgments that have affected us and triggers that we have in our life. When we get in a fight with a girlfriend or a boyfriend, oftentimes it isn't always the actual fight. It isn't about what it was that you were fighting about, but it's really more about what that was that triggered you. So what was it about that conversation or that topic that actually triggered you to kind of get you feel in a different way? So a spiritual path is about becoming aware of how we're feeling, how our triggers are, what things we have been sitting with that haven't really felt good to us, that have really held us in a holding pattern in our life. And, when we can kind of dive into that, it really helps us get a lot of clarity on how we have really walked on our path, how things have affected us and prevented us from doing the things that our heart really wanted to do, things that have held us back. And that's people outside of us, right? It's so many things outside of us have really prevented us from really being who we really are. And a spiritual path is, about that. So, spirituality is, the aspect of, that it's a way that individuals, how we seek and express that meaning and that purpose, that connectedness that we have to that greater source, to that divine, and how we connect with it in any moment in our life, within ourself, within nature, within the significance, and also, your own personal connection with that sacred space, because part of that sacred space is part of you as well, and learning that, how that feels to you, and that connection and relationship that you have with that, right? So a spiritual journey, a spiritual path is really your own walk, really with the divine, and your own walk with yourself. And so, sometimes people might say, what's the difference really between religion and spirituality? And, religion is it is different. But, you will always find spirituality in religion, but you won't really find religion in spirituality, So in religion, we have maybe more organized beliefs, or it's more of practices that are like shared in a group or an organization or a church or something like that. And none of that's wrong. And you can be spiritual and have great love and desire for a religion. So you could be passionate with a particular religion and still have spirituality. Spirituality can absolutely and easily be a part of religion, and it is. But there's just not a lot of religion in the spirituality part, because spirituality is really more about you. It's about yourself. It's about what's within you. It's about you. It's personal, So spirituality is really more about you getting an understanding of yourself and who you are. Hi, Dash of Beauty. Hi, Kaylee. Hey, Pat. Nice to see you here, darling. So understand that you could have a religion that you were raised with and you love it and you're passionate about it. And you can also be spiritual, because spirituality doesn't dismiss faith. It just leans heavily towards having you have your own soul experience, opposed to, reading something and saying this is how it is. Spirituality is about allowing you that opportunity to have a personal experience. And that's when sometimes you'll find that in religion. That's why there is spirituality in religion. But when we're talking spirituality, which is what we're talking today, it's about allowing you to understand that it is a personal, individual path that you cannot share with anybody. And when you do a spiritual path, it could be a little bit lonely sometimes. And you might find moments of craving alone time. Have any of you guys ever felt that way? Have any of you guys felt this moment of where I just don't even want to be with anyone? I just kind of want to be by myself, and not because, you're sad. You just really are enjoying maybe wanting to just sit with you. And so a spiritual journey is about yourself, right? And I'm going to talk about different ways that you can start this process. I'm going to talk about different ways that you can kind of, step in. And again, I'm all about keeping it easy, keeping it practical. That's very important to me. I don't like a lot of things that are hard and difficult, because, it could become overwhelming. And I think that when we are seeking something and wanting to connect with something greater, that could be a lot, right? in itself. And so we really want steps easy about that. So spirituality is about understanding that pure spirit, and it's about that unifying force and knowing that no one is left behind. That's really spirituality. It's about knowing that we are all a part of God's world, and we are all a part of the universal world. And there isn't any separation, that we are all connected. And I think that when you walk a spiritual path, you begin to think differently. And when you begin to walk a spiritual path, you begin to see others differently. You begin to understand why people are behaving the way they are, and how you behaved in some ways the way you have. And as you are learning and unfolding about your tics and your triggers and the things that sit with you, you understand how that affected you in your life, and you're able to begin to clear that. Edgar always says, my guides, they always say, like, it's, that the spiritual path is kind of like going into your garage and clearing out the garage. Sometimes the garage can be so packed with so many boxes and things, you don't even know what's in that garage. You don't know what's in there. It's like packed with a bunch of stuff. You don't even want to deal with it. It's overwhelming. And have you guys been like that? You know what I'm talking about, right? Like, you don't even know, like, what's in some of these boxes. It's been a long time. It's an overwhelming task to even want to hit the garage and really clear it out. And so, thank you, Alex. But Edgar, the guides always say, you know what? That's part of your journey. Your spiritual journey is about being able to pull out those boxes, open it up, and see what's in there. And when we walk a path that is for ourselves, and that's why it's personal and individual, and sometimes it requires us to be on our own, because we're kind of going through things, right? And so Edgar, talks about how a spiritual path is about getting that stuff out of the garage, like that we pack within us a lot of things, a lot of stuff that we have no use for. We carry it from year after year, we carry these wounds, we carry these triggers, we carry these feelings of other people's judgment that have affected us, and we just take it house to house, year after year, birthday after birthday, and we just keep dealing with that, and we just keep taking it. It's like we just keep that box, and we just take it everywhere we go, and then more judgment, more boxes, more wounds, more boxes, more, and we don't ever unpack it. So a spiritual journey is about unpacking those boxes. It's about spring cleaning. In a nutshell, that's really spirituality. A spiritual path, a spiritual journey is about you recognizing and wanting to be on a path of self-discovery. And when I say self-discovery, I also mean recovery, because I know firsthand, and maybe some of you that have walked this journey already have begun, you have found that you've been opening up some of those boxes and finding things that you've had to relook at. And sometimes that could be really emotional and really painful when you have to go within and open up boxes and you begin to see things that have really weighed you down. And that is why a spiritual journey is so important, because so much of that baggage, of those boxes that are packed with stuff that doesn't serve our better good at all, and yet we take it with us everywhere we go. Every house we move to, every relationship we step into, right? We just keep taking it. And I think that we need to be willing to spring clean. And so think of a spiritual journey as cleaning out your garage. I think that's a nice way of putting it. I like how Edgar said that, because that's really what it is. And it's a way for us to really understand, because we've all done it at some point, whether it be a closet or a garage. We've had to clear out some stuff and get rid of things, and we can see how things can really pack up. And spiritual journey is about unpacking it and being able to look at yourself and say, hey, here's something I got to look at. And that's why during a spiritual journey, you'll have moments of tears, of crying, of sensitivity, because we're allowing ourselves to be vulnerable. We're allowing ourselves to get raw. And I posted something the other day about, your wounds are your wisdom. And it's our wounds that really shine a light on us, that allow us to know where focus needs to be placed for us, right? So a spiritual journey is a really exciting thing. And I'll tell you, it's also life-changing, because, it's something that you're never going to be the same again afterwards. You just can't. You're not going to be the same, because you're going to uncover things about you that you never knew. And I'll tell you personally, being on a journey, I have never, it was through my spiritual journey of me walking that path that made me really find my worth. I spent a lot of years not really finding myself very valuable. And we all kind of have had that, right? So in a lot of ways, we are all connected too, right? Because we've all had things that come up in our life where we don't feel worthy, or we don't feel smart, or someone said something that kept us from doing something that we thought we could do, but then they made us change our mind. And then that created doubt in us. And then that doubt prevented us from stepping into our power and step into what we were absolutely wanting and are supposed to do. So your journey, your spiritual journey, will always bring you where you want. And so many people ask, what is my purpose? And, I get it all the time. And, your purpose is always going to be found on your spiritual path. And you know what? Here's the thing. It's shown up so many times for you through life, but we're just so not aware, and we just don't allow ourselves to kind of really spend time there. So, but I promise you that your purpose has shown up many times in your path. And, mine started back in the 80s already. It was already highlighting it to me. And as I look back, I see all those breadcrumbs. But, I think that it's okay. We don't have to beat ourselves up either about, where I am in my age or where you are in your age or anything like that. We need to not, we need to not do that. So we can't worry about, I should have done this 20 years ago. It's always perfect exactly right now. Right now is all you got, and right now is the absolute perfect time. So I think that we also have to be kind to ourselves, and I think a spiritual journey is also about being kind and being gentle with ourselves as we go through these wounds, as we go through these things that have triggered us, and being able to understand why they have triggered us, why we allowed that doubt to sit with us as long. And although we're recognizing it now, we can move forward now. So we only have now. And so we really can't focus so much on the past. And yet so much of the past is what's put us in a holding pattern today. And I think a spiritual journey is about allowing us to move forward with that and really kind of let that past go. And that's why cleaning out the garage is so important. So I want to read you this little book, and then I've got other books I want to share. So remind you, if you guys want a copy of this, I'm going to send it to you for free. So if you want it, it'll be a nice little guide. It's super easy for you to follow. It's wonderful. It'll give you stepping stones towards this path of uncovering and discovering and recovery on your life path, your spiritual path. It'll certainly help you. I promise you it will. And so I'll send it to you for free as an ebook if you email me. But I want to read like a chapter because they told me to. So I'm going to do it. So I'm not promoting my book because I'm giving it to you for free. Alex says, great book, loved it. Thank you, darling. Hey, PK joined. Hi, honey. Okay, so let me just see where they wanted me to read a page. Hang on a second. Let me just get it. So, and then you'll kind of understand a little bit because it talks about spirituality. So I thought this would be good. This is where they, sorry. Where is it? Okay. The first few chapters of this book is really good to read. Well, the whole book is good, but where is my thing on spirituality? Hang on a minute. Sorry. What the heck? Where is it? Know where you're going. Hang on, guys. Sorry. Who you are. I could do that one too. Let's start with that one actually, because let's do that one because the chapters are super, super short. Oh, okay. All right. Anyway, so the introduction of this book, introduction of this book, the quote of it is, get to know the beauty of yourself, what truly moves you and inspires you. Spirituality, and this is from the guides, this is a channeled book, spirituality is a word with different meanings to different people. This book is not here to tell you what spirituality is or should be to you, but rather for you to discover for yourself what it is and means to you. It is a place within you, a sacred place where discoveries of yourself can and will be awoken. We are not trying to say that you are asleep, only that life can turn down your personal awareness. It causes you to become distracted from who you really are and more focused on what is going on outside of you. To remember who you are, try to spend less time on things around you and more time on yourself. Get to know the beauty of yourself, what truly moves you and inspires you. Feel what desires sit within you. This is what we would like you to awaken yourself to. This is exactly why spirituality means different things to different people. Within oneself resides one's very own unique beauty and the incredible desires that move and inspire one to take action and draw to one the very things one wishes to experience. Through this book, we wish to get you thinking of those things that move you, to begin to awaken yourself to that absolute beauty that sits within you. To become aware of yourself and to truly get to know who you really are. The purpose here is to share easy, practical ways to find yourself and put you on a path of joy and of happiness. We believe that when you know yourself and begin to see the magnificence that you are and the possibilities that are there for you, and all the incredible desires that sit idle within you, you will begin to find your own power, your calling, and your happiness. You'll find your innate ability to create the life you want with the joy that you deserve. This is our passion project, to help you become all that you are made to be able to see yourself for all that you are, can be, and are meant to be. We wish that you see the pages that await you here as a marvelous treasure chest of jewels, filled with all sorts of beautiful and vibrant gems. These gems are you. This is meant to be an easy process, for we wish this journey of self-discovery to be fun and light. We want to create simple steps for you to shine your light bright. We hope to help you find what brings you joy, happiness, and fulfillment in all areas of your life. We say it is all there within you. It really is nothing that needs to be created. It merely needs to be found within you. Allow us to help you on your path and give you the map you need on this journey to find yourself and your own personal spirituality. It is different for everyone, and isn't that wonderful? So, and then they say, then they want to talk a moment about, let's get the guides are here actually, who you are. So they want me to read this one. Are you guys okay if I read this one too? Okay, so the quote on this chapter is, the light within you is you. It is all you really are. Tap into the light. So again, this whole book is about a spiritual journey. It's about your own personal journey. And this book is about helping you find that spiritual journey, find yourself on that road. That's what it's about. Yes, ma'am, Alex says. So this next little short chapter is, and again, it's very easy to read. You could finish this in 2 hours. You can get going right away. So it's a wonderful tool to have in your toolbox. To know that you are here now, reading these words and tuning each page, it is to know that you are ready and desire the information. It's possible you have felt stuck or uncertain of yourself. We understand that you have been searching for something, for a sign that says, go this way. We want you to know that you are correct in looking for the signs. They are there. Each and every day, these signs are presenting themselves to you from your soul, from your true self, your best and highest self. You see, it knows you. Yes, it is true. It knows you very well, better than you know yourself at this moment and at the moments that have come before this. To look for the signs is not wrong. It is, in fact, quite right. You have a system within you, a very strong, smart system that runs you. It runs you like a powerful engine should. Each day, your soul is speaking to you. Each day, your soul is crying out for you to listen. Each day, your soul is wanting to make your life beautiful, to make your life full and filled with joy. To know your soul is the most important step towards all you wish to be. We ask you now, do you even know what it is that you want? There are days you may sit and ponder this question, days you maybe even feel you know. Yet, are you happy? Are you experiencing the things that create the life, the joy, and the love that you wish to have? Do you understand yourself? We are here to share with you beautiful ways to discover yourself, to create the life you want, to have the experiences you want, and to enjoy a life you really want. You must know what you want. You must feel what you want. You must see the signs that draw you towards and onto the path that brings you whatever it is that you do want. What happens, however, is doubt. The unsure feeling of not understanding yourself, not knowing yourself, the true you, the deeper you, the all-knowing you, the beautiful you. Your soul knows. It knows with absolute certainty what you love, what you enjoy, and what brings you happiness and fulfillment. It knows you. It knows your path. It knows your future and your purpose. It knows it all. It's not something you must make or create. It is already there for you. Your deepest, truest heart's desire is already within you. It is your soul. Trust it. It is there. Why are you not seeing it? Why are you not feeling it, enjoying it? That light from within that is so bright that it shines from within, that it's so bright that it shines outward to the world to touch not only you, but your family, your friends, your co-workers, and your community. That light sits inside of you. The light within you is you. It is all that you really are. Tap into the light. It is filled with those feelings you desire to have each and every day. It is happiness, joy, and love made to manifest. That light holds everything you are including. All of your desires, your talents, your hopes, and the light holds your dreams. It holds you at your fullest. And it contains your personal map to get you everywhere you are meant to go and be. This light tries each and every day to give you signs, to point you in the right direction to all that you want. That light is never wrong, it's never off or in error. It holds all your abilities and knows where they should be directed. It knows your possibilities, and we promise you there are many. Get to know yourself. It is the absolute best relationship you can ever have. So many of you spend so much time trying to get to know a new friend, pursue a new relationship, but do you put the same effort in knowing yourself? You will love yourself once you feel everything you really are. It is a love so big and so deep. Love yourself first. Once you develop this relationship, it will not disappoint. From this place of knowing who you are and all that you can do and be, magic unfolds. The beauty, the light can be seen and can shine as it is meant to. So begin by looking within. Allow us to help you meet yourself. Allow us to introduce you to your soul. This is from Edgar. So this is them expressing who we are. And this is a lovely little book. They're short chapters, just like what I read. And it's all about helping you on a journey to self-discovery. Through that journey of self-discovery, through your spiritual path, you will go through recovery. And, you know, there are wounds that need attention. And it is always showing up. So when you go on a spiritual journey, this stuff, these wounds, these feelings of judgment, or this pain, or this grief, or any of these things that are sitting within you are going to rise to the surface. So it can get addressed, looked at, honored, and released. That is a spiritual journey in a nutshell. And it's going to be different for all of you, as it was different for me. What I hold within me is different than what you hold within you. My triggers, or my pain, or my, my grief, it's going to be different than yours. That's why the path to spirituality and the spiritual journey is personal and individual, and it has to be done solo. So, but I want to talk to you a little bit about some things that will happen when you go on this spiritual journey, because, as much as I want to tell you that it was the most amazing journey I ever took, me personally, and it was, and it will be for you, there will be some bumps along the way, and there will be some bliss along the way, because things are rising to the surface. First, we're going to have to deal with things that are hurtful or painful, or things like that. And then as we start releasing that, we make room within us for the good stuff, for the things we want, for those dreams, for that stuff that we have purpose in, so purpose can show up for us. We've got to get rid of all of those boxes that are just taking up all the space in the garage. It's time to park your car in the garage again and be able to make space for the good stuff. And so a spiritual journey is going to be about meditation, but it's going to be about sitting in some silence. But, that doesn't mean you got to be a Buddha, or you got to be a yogi, or you got to, become a monk or anything like that. I mean, we're talking, you give what you can, whether it's 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes a day or whatever it is for you. But to begin that journey, the book also has a really, really good chapter on meditation. It has a really good step-by-step on it, and it really walks you through why do this, why do that, why do this, why are we wanting you to do this, and and breathing is so important when we're on a spiritual journey as well. And there's a lot of, we breathe and become aware of our breath in meditation. And that's also because it allows us to be present in the moment. Because if we're not present and we're not in the moment and we're not breathing, we're not going to be alive. So we have to be present. So there are moments we are present in our life as we breathe, but we're not really mentally present. It's happening, but we're not mentally present in that breath. And a lot of magic is there when you can sit within your own breathing. There's a lot of transformation that happens on a spiritual journey. Let me tell you guys, I'm a different person today than I was when I started this journey. And so many things showed up on my path because of this journey. And I really like who I've become on this journey. But I'm not going to tell you it was always easy. There was moments of tears. There was moments of bliss. There was moments of a lot of it. There's a lot of everything. And that's sifting through all the boxes that we have to go through to make space in our personal garage. Make sense? So I want to share some books with you also. Again, I'm going to send this to you free if you want to email me. I want to give you some other books that I like. I'll start with that first because I want to share some other books that are going to be super good for you. And then I have quotes. Okay, so books I want to recommend, and then we'll talk a little bit more. I don't have my comments here, unfortunately, which is just... thinking this is not good. Okay, so a really good book is The Seat of the Soul by Gary Zakuv, Z-A-K-U-V. Gary Zakuv, Z-A-K-U-V. It's a great book. It's called The Seat of the Soul, really good. The Celestine Prophecy by James Redfield, also very good. The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, C-O-E-L-H-O. The Essential by Rumi. The Divine Matrix by Greg Braden. That's a good one. The Journey Home by Radhanath Swami. Destination Self, which you can get free today. Those are some really good books to kind of get started on. Oh, The Art of Happiness, the Dalai Lama. So The Art of Happiness is a fantastic book. So that is a really good one also. And Harvard University actually has a course on happiness. Do you know that? So there's actually a course at Harvard University on that, and I think you can do it virtual. So that's something to look into also at Harvard. So it's supposed to be excellent, by the way. So, okay, so those are some books. And then, again, I want to talk to you a little bit also, if I can find my little paper. So to kind of get started on a little spiritual journey also, and I know the book is an outline for it from the guides, their words for the spiritual journey. But I just want to tell you to kind of start small and, just start small, like just start where you're at and where you're comfortable. I think that, when we go too hardcore too quick, we might burn out. And so I think that, don't worry so much about needing to adopt so many new, practices or beliefs. Just look for what resonates for you. That's my recommendation, to look what resonates for you. Spend some time in silence, whether it's 5 minutes or 10 minutes, whether that's just sitting in the chair, being alone. I do it every single day. It's my special time. I do it with my coffee. So do it, twice a day if you can, once a day, 5 or 10 minutes. Just sit there and be with yourself. Get to know yourself. Get to know how you feel. Get to know the sensations and the feelings and the thoughts that come in as you're sitting with yourself. Pay attention to that. The other day too, because the spirit world will work with you. They will, not just because I'm a medium, the spirit world works with me, but they'll work with you. So, whenever I sit to channel with the guides, I always sit in quiet. I work on my breathing. I sit quietly, and I just kind of take my breaths. And the other day, actually, I did it, and I don't know, 3 breaths in, I started bawling my eyes out. I couldn't stop crying. Like I couldn't stop crying. And I kept having all these downloads that were coming to me that were all about some stuff that happened to me in my past that were downloading. And I was like, oh my God, like, where's this coming from? I was just getting ready to sit and chat with the guides and like had this wonderful, inspiring, session with them and like see what they're going to have to say. And here comes these downloads of all of this like kind of heavy stuff. And I started getting really emotional and crying. And I was perfectly fine 3 minutes, a minute before I sat down, 3 breaths in. And then all of a sudden I'm being flooded with emotion. And then I went to the computer and I did my typing with the guides as I do, and I took that and I went. And then the whole channeling session was about them saying it was time for me to share my story, and the whole focus was on that. And it was so interesting that I got all this hit with all this emotion out of nowhere. And it just all started coming to me. And then as I was writing, they were talking about writing a third book and it being about my story. And, I'm not honestly ready for that. I'm not ready to write that story. So, I had to kind of tell them, take a pass because I'm not really wanting to do that. But it was very interesting. So my point in this, why I share this, is you could sit with yourself and all of a sudden you'll get flooded with emotions because the spirit world's going to work with you, your guides are going to work with you, your soul's going to work with you, when you are receptive and you're in a place to allow that to happen. And when you're quiet and you're still, you're allowing. And that's a wonderful thing. And it's a beautiful thing. And I can't recommend a spiritual journey enough, right? But when you're on this spiritual journey, you're going to become a little bit more sensitive. You're going to, be a little bit more, you're going to become a little more sensitive. So as I'm talking about a spiritual journey that kind of helps you deal with your triggers and why I'm being triggered, like, hey, I had a fight with my girlfriend, but what we really fought about, was that really what it was about? Or really wasn't? It's really more about what triggered me about that conversation. So that asks us to look at ourselves, right? So it's about us looking at ourselves and asking us the questions, about that. And also, when you're on a spiritual journey, we always have these soul questions that we're always asking ourselves, who am I really? What do I want in my life? Like, what do I really want? Sometimes we talk about those materialistic things, but truly that's not what we really want. So when we can have the deeper conversations with ourselves, we can ask, who am I really? I want to know. You got to want to know to walk this path. You got to want to know. You got to what do I want? Like, really, what do I want? Is it the diamond? No, it really isn't the diamond or the purse. It really isn't. It isn't about that promotion or that. It's not really probably what it is. But it'd be great to find out what that is for you. What is really important to you? What is my purpose? That's a question we get all the time. What is my purpose? And, and what is my meaning in this life? So in other words, what am I bringing to the table in this life? What is what I'm doing? How am I contributing to the bigger scale, to the universe, to the world, to God, to others? Where is my impact being made? How is it being made? And how can I do more of that? So these are questions our soul asks. That's our soul. That's a question for our soul. I'm sorry. That's a question for our soul. And these are questions that you'll ask yourself when you start a spiritual path. And it's really about really getting to know really who you are, and not on the surface level, but on the really deeper level. Like what Edgar was saying about that light, that soul that is really you, like really getting to know that piece of you. And that's a spiritual journey, and it will be life-changing, and you will be changed for it. You will be more compassionate. You will find love easier. You will have love for others. You will find forgiveness in others who have wronged you, which is wonderful for you too, right? But you will find forgiveness in others that have wronged you. You will understand why triggers have come, and you'll be able to work through that. You will become more sensitive, because as you are bringing everything to the surface, it's all so raw. So you will be touchy. So that is something that will happen also. But you will also find a wonderful tribe that is just so in alignment to where you are now in your life, as you have grown and changed and grown and changed and grown and changed. And it's a never ending thing, right? So, be willing to change, be willing to step on a spiritual path, and be willing to have change within you, because you can't not. The one thing that is always constant is going to be change. And our soul requires that. Our soul wants that. It's never trying to be the same. It's always trying to expand and become more, and to touch more aspects of who you are. Your soul wants that. So it's always going to want to give you other experiences, So we have to be a little more lighthearted about our experiences that we're having, the good ones and the bad ones, right? We have to be willing to do that. Hey, Bonnie, how are you? Let me see if I can read this. The Journey Home by Chiron is good too. Yeah, okay, perfect. That's a good one too. I did The Journey Home. Did I not do that one? Yeah, there's another one, The Journey Home, also with another author. But yes, perfect. So there's another book for you. Anyway, I don't know. I mean, again, I was going to talk about something entirely different. And then as I was doing my Facebook post, the entire post changed, and it became a topic of a Facebook Live. And, that's my life. That's my life. Spirit is always navigating me and moving me and changing directions. And, especially when it comes to my work, because there's so much a part of my work. And I know that, my guides particularly are always about helping us on our path to uncovering more about us. And, so it's obviously their passion project, as they mentioned in the book. So anyway, I have some quotes for you I want to read also. Because I know you guys are probably busy tonight. I don't want to take up too much time. All right, so here's some quotes. The essence of your soul path is unique only to you. You will not find it in the texts or teachings of others, because it is a core spiritual truth one can only find within. The spiritual journey, the path of recovery and personal growth, is a detoxification process in which we bring up and out the negative beliefs we have carried with us from the past, and now that poisons our present. The spiritual path is walked alone. Only you can walk this path, one step at a time. As I progress in life and on my spiritual journey, there are parts of my identity that I have needed to let die, so that I may live a truer version of myself. And I think that that's a really good point, because, Ralph Waldo Emerson had a quote also that said, to be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. And I think that so much of how we step into our life often is because of outside influences. And oftentimes we're not willing to really show ourselves or get to know that deeper side. And I think that, like he had said, it's our greatest accomplishment to be able to, even though the outside influences are so around us, trying to make us something different, like different things, get attached to certain materialistic things. But it's the greatest accomplishment to actually be ourselves. And so I thought that was really good. Jim Carrey had a really good quote too, because Jim Carrey went on a very spiritual journey. He left. I think he left the the movie business, right? And here's a guy that was super successful, but he went through a tough time, in his life that put him on a spiritual path. And on that journey, he found that he was a really good artist. And have you seen his artwork, Jim Carrey? It's amazing. So, also, when we step on the spiritual path, we're going to uncover amazing qualities about us. You're going to unfold, you're going to find really gorgeous things about you. You're going to realize talents that sit within you that you didn't know were there. I promise you, when you embark on this path of getting to know yourself. And Jim Carrey found that he was a great artist and he loves it and it makes him so happy. And he has this wonderful art studio and he has these gorgeous art pieces. I don't even know if he sells them, but they're great. And he discovered that on his spiritual journey. And, let's face it too, oftentimes we go on a spiritual path because we're hurting, because something doesn't feel right within us, because something isn't connecting, and we feel there's something missing within us and in our life. And it makes us want to seek. And being on a spiritual journey is about becoming the greatest seeker, the seeker of wanting to discover yourself. And that's really it. And so I hope it inspires you to want to try it. Your spiritual journey begins when you decide to rediscover who you really are, where you really are, and what's really happening in the place that you call reality. I want to find Jim Carrey. Oh, here's Jim Carrey's quote. I hope everybody could get rich and famous and will have everything they ever dreamed of, so they will know that's not the answer. And here's a guy who had it all, right? Money, fame, success, a girl. He had everything. And that wasn't it. And so I really liked his quote. There comes a time in the spiritual journey when you start making choices from a very different place. And if a choice lines up so that it supports truth, health, happiness, wisdom, and love, it's always the right choice. Within the spiritual journey, you understand that suffering becomes something that has been given to you to show you where your mind is still stuck. It's a vehicle, you see, to help you go to work. That's why it's called grace. Isn't that true? It's like, that road, that spiritual path is really, it's an avenue, and it's allowing you a way to go to work on yourself. And these wonderful little steps, meditation and journaling. Journaling's great, and sitting with yourself and having some moments of gratitude. This all kind of helps us forward with that. To dare is to lose one's footing momentarily. To not dare is to lose oneself. So in other words, take a chance. The spiritual journey is the unlearning of fear and the acceptance of love. Truth, right? So true. So true. And, I think I can honestly say too that I have learned to find a lot of beauty and a lot of love through this process. And when I see somebody who says something or acts some way, I immediately go to compassion when what they're doing or saying isn't so kind or nice. I always go to compassion first, and I immediately understand that this is so much more to do about their own personal pain and really has nothing to do with anything that they're lashing out to the person. It's really about themselves. And so, I've learned to really have compassion for people. And I think that when we lose somebody also in our life and we have grief, I think that also creates a lot of compassion within us also, because we know firsthand what it feels like to hurt that much. And we have compassion when we see other people hurting also. And, honestly, that's so much of why I do this work. I always say that this is kind of my calling, but Spirit's moving me all the time. And so I don't know if this is something I'll always do. They might move me in another direction, right? I don't know. I mean, just like when I wrote the post and all of a sudden it turned into something else, just like I was going to talk about something else about spirituality and they moved me to the book to read the book pages. And, so I'm always kind of being moved and shifted. So it's for me to kind of pay attention when they're trying to move me in another area when it comes to my work. So right now I'm loving what I'm doing and I love being a medium, but I can't say that I'll be doing that forever. I don't know. I have to follow my path. And we all need to do that. And I think if we all just walk it and we be aware of the path that we're walking and we pay attention to how it's moving us and what direction it's taking us, I know it'll always take me where I need to be. And I know it will you as well. So, we have to have trust and faith on our path also, that we don't always know where we're going and where the spiritual journey is taking us. But I think that it will always take us where we need to be, and we need to have trust and faith in that, and to have faith in that bigger power that is always working beside us and for us and within us. Um, so anyway, I hope you enjoyed today. I'm sorry I couldn't do any of the comments on Facebook today. If I do see them when I get off and this goes on my page, I will respond to you, I promise. I will do that. I hope you guys are having a wonderful night. And I gave you the books, I gave you some quotes, and I'll be back on next Thursday. And I dare not tell you what it'll be about because it could change. But I'll be on next week, Thursday as well, if you guys want to join in and tune in. And maybe I'll have a little surprise for you. So, okay. So you guys, thanks for tuning in. Thank you so much for being with me. I hope you enjoyed. It's always a pleasure to sit with you guys. Thanks for making the time to be with me. That means a lot to me. I know you have so many things you could be doing. To give your time to me is, I'm really grateful for that. So you guys be amazing. And again, if you guys want to do my spirit guide talk, my night with the spirit guides, it's going to be next Friday. You can get a ticket on my website. It's $10. I think there's 3 or 4 tickets left. That's it. And then I'll be sold out of that. So if you guys want to, it'll be 5 o'clock Pacific time next week, Friday. So get a ticket on my event page of my website. Also, if you guys are interested in mediumship, I have devoted the month of November Monday nights to that, to helping you kind of build on your abilities. It's $10. It's about 2 or 2.5 hours, and I'll guide you through the process of making a connection. And it's been really fun and wonderful to see people really do this. And so it's been kind of exciting and fun, and I love being a part of that journey for you. So if you guys are interested, you can go on my website, upcoming events page, and get a ticket. They'll take you to Eventbrite, and you can pick the Monday that you want. I have a couple left in November. Okay, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much. You have an amazing night. And as always, be well and shine your light. And until next time, bye.